Hello and welcome to Jamie TV. Thank you very, very much for being here. Hello everyone in the chat. I'll get to that in just a moment. First of all, most important thing I want to say today is thank you to everyone who joined me yesterday and was incredibly patient while I had difficulty starting the stream. I don't know what that was all about because today it's saying excellent connection. It said that ever since I prepared the stream, and it stayed like that ever since. So let's hope it stays that way. I don't want to jinx it, so let's not talk about that too much. But once again, thank you very, very much for your patience yesterday. All right, so we have, let's go to this view here. We have a project, and I really ought to stop it playing. There we go. Right, and I'll just pinch and zoom and get back to the, let's have the project in shot. Right, so as promised yesterday, I couldn't wait, and when the stream finished, first thing I did was I coloured all my tracks and labelled them. It really upsets me when they're not right, but I don't like to kind of, take too long during the stream messing about naming and colouring things. I always keep the same kind of instruments, the same kinds of colours, which is one thing that's a little bit frustrating about some of the iOS DAWs. They don't have that many colour choices, and there could be more in Logic Pro for iPad, but it's not bad compared to some of the others. What I do is synths are always green, so if I have multiple synths in a project, then I have multiple greens, and as you can see in this project, all I have so far is synths, and I've got my drum track. I was going to say one drum track, but if I go to my mixer here, of course, you'll see as we go along, all of these tracks here are my drum 80 is now multiplus out, so these are all the extra outs from drum 80, and on the end here I've got my buses for my reverbs. Okay, so we'll come out of that and back to this project window here, and the other track that I have here is this one, which is Noises. Noises is a noisy app, so that's a sort of browny orange. I didn't want to make it blue because guitars are blue and bass is purple, and I tend to use pink for leads. So the thing about this is it may seem a little bit anal and a bit silly and maybe a bit childish. Some people think that the icons are childish, but I find all this stuff really helpful because my projects tend to get pretty big. And when I'm navigating about the projects, if I can just go straight to a recognizable icon, or if I can see, this is the synth section because everything's green, then I just find that really helpful. It's, faster workflow. Okay, thank you very much, Gerald, for letting me know that the sound and vision is all good. Are you a Bowie fan? I'm a massive Bowie fan. So let's say hello to some people in chat. So hi to Gerald and Kinora and Grant. Thank you for joining us. Like I missed anyone? Okay, there are some lurkers who maybe we'll persuade to join the chat. Maybe we'll even have a guest in the chat later. We shall see. All right, so everything looks good, so I shall proceed. Now, what I was saying yesterday towards the end of my stream was that I feel like this track now needs another section. Needs a new section. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use 3 things to help me create that section. Partly because I want to demo these things, and partly because I just think that they will be really helpful for this section. So I'm going to be showing you today, I'm going to be showing you Blipbox and Phase Monkey. Now I know the other iOS YouTubers have all been demoing, because this is what tends to happen is that we all tend to be demoing the same things at the same time, because the developers send us all codes around about the same time. So this is just what happens. But like I was talking about yesterday, what I'm going to do is I am going to show you some of how they work. I'm not going to go into depth into every single detail of these apps, but I'm going to give you an overview of how they work. But mainly what I'm going to be concentrating on doing is using them in a project, which maybe that'll be a helpful approach. I hope so. And the other thing that I want to show you today is the Synido TempoPad. I'm just going to go to my overhead view for a moment, which is a poor quality picture. My apologies for that, but you can see the pad over here. If I just arrange things a little differently on my desk, is this cable going to be long enough for me to do that? Let's just have a little pissy pants around with this cable here and see if I can't just drag this keyboard a little further over across. That's better. And then I can get this more into shot. This is the side camera here that's just in the way of that view. Okay, so apologies for the slightly blurry image on this overhead camera. I need to buy Droid Cam, but first of all, I need to be convinced that Droid Cam is the right webcam app for me to be using before I purchase it. So let me just move my mouse mat a little, and there we go. I think I'm organized. Right, so this is the Synido TempoPad. It's like many other pads. In fact, I think I can possibly, if I just reach down to my right here. Nope, that's not it. I've picked up a very old drum machine. Let's see what else I can fish out down here. Ah, there it is. Okay, so this is the Donastari pad, which I made a video about. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I think it's one of my good ones, and this is a really, really good little drum pad thing. You know, there's quite a lot of these things available, 16 pads and then some random controls. And what I'm going to be doing a bit later on is I'll just give you my thoughts on how this one compares with this one, because they're kind of a similar price bracket and similar features, but not exactly the same. So I'll just set this aside for the moment. Now, the Synido TempoPad. What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be talking to you about, it's not going to be like a full-on demo, because to do that I would really need to be using the computer, and I'm making music with the iPad Pro at the moment. The reason I say that is because the TempoPad, it has some software that comes with it, but it doesn't have any software for iOS. Now, this is not entirely a massive problem on iOS. You'll have the same problem with all of these pads. Virtually all of them. He said picking up the Starry Pad, which we're not talking about quite so much today. But the problem, I needed a prop. The problem with these kind of pads is you tend to find, and the keyboards too, that there'll be some software that comes with it. But that software is desktop software. So if you want to change, say, the notes that the pads play, or if you want to change what the CC messages are that are being sent out by the various buttons, you've got to have a desktop. And it's going to be the same with the Synido TempoPad. So I will do a stream or a video where I talk about that in depth. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what you can do with it with iOS, and it's going to be pretty much the same as all the other pads. So let's go to another view. We'll go here. Right, now I'm going to need some instruments first, so let's go. We'll go here, and we will add another MIDI track, and we want from instruments, from Sketch Audio. I remember the name of the developer. Go me. Right, we're going to want Blipbox. And we're also going to want Phase Monkey. So while I'm at it, I'm just going to add that one as well. I'm sure that this selecting an AV3 instrument could be, I'm sure it could be a little bit quicker and easier. I think the menu could do with a little bit of a look at in Logic Pro for iPad. Right. Okay. Now this is a drum instrument. No, this one is. See, it's confusing me already not having them labelled. Yeah, that one's Blip box. So I'm just gonna change the colour of this just so that I can identify them. Actually, if you don't know how to do this in Logic Pro for iPad, I mean, maybe not everybody does. It's a drum instrument, so it should be red, but my drum 80 is red. So should we go with like a slightly different red? A slightly different shade of red. And maybe that'll make me happy. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. And then let's name it while I'm here. Sorry, but it's upsetting me. Okay. Blip box. Here we go. And I think I'll just move that one to next to the drums. It keeps everything sort of, you know, categorized and, you know, tidy. I don't seem to be able to move that with the mouse. Why is that? I should be able to move that with the mouse, surely. Oh, I'll just stick my finger on it. Right. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to label Phase Monkey. There. Right, okay, just to avoid me getting all confused. Hey, Matthias, thanks for joining us, man. You're on a family trip. Oh, have a fantastic day, dude. Have a fantastic time. Where are you at? I know that you're in Poland, but what are you doing in Poland? I miss playing in Poland. Really must just get myself a gig in Poland again, because I just want to go back. I used to go there all the time. Right, now, Phase Monkey, Blip box, and TempoPad. First thing that we'll do is we'll just go to the end of this section here. I want something that comes, let's go from this climb of chords here. And that stupid camera's gone off again. Why has it done that to me? Now, when I restarted the camera, oh dear. I hate using the mouse. Right, when I tried to restart that camera yesterday, it was working according to the software on the computer, but was not in the stream. I wonder if I can add it to the stream again in some way. If I could, like, take it out of the streaming software and put it back in. Because that side camera is kind of important for all of the times that I forget to use the mouse and I use my fingers. You know what I could do is I could move that rubbish camera from up there and bring it down here. Okay. Bear with, let me just see what I can do here. The annoying thing about this is that that's my best. It's my best. It's my best iPhone. It's my current iPhone that I'm using for the side view. I wonder, is there something going on with the phone? That's making it getting a notification or something like that. It has a troubleshooting option. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not going to pissy pants around with that. All right. Well, I have one idea. Let's just try doing this. Get rid of that. Press this. Right, I'm just kind of rebooting this. And if it craps out again, connecting to computer. And it's totally not digging it at all. Okay, I think I'm going to have to give up on this camera. It's just really, really annoying. Okay, get back to the chat. Potato says, visiting a nice castle and a palace. Have a fantastic day with your family, dude. Gerald always uses red for drums, brown is bass, blue for synths. Yeah, it works. Alright, see you, Mateus. Okay, so that camera's crapped out on me. I'm going to have to do something. I need a side camera. So we may have to use the slightly blurry camera. Right, let me just... Unless this one would work using Wi-Fi. Maybe it's the cable that's connected to the computer that's the problem. No. Alright, I'm going to move the other one down. So, put this over here. Right, let's get this camera. Right, just put this in this bracket here. Okay. Then, in my streaming software, I need to go to Sidecam, get rid of this, and add in here. Hey Stephen, thanks for joining us. Just having a slight camera issue. I'm just trying to fix it. We need a side cam so you can see what I'm pressing on the iPad. Okay, so I can go to add in here, video capture device, and that would be add an existing one. There. Oh. Okay, the image is upside down, but I could flip the camera over, so not the end of the world. Alright, okay. Now, this is my crappiest camera, so it's going to be slightly blurry, but There. Okay. Right. So my side view camera is fixed. Right now, I just need it in the main view as well. So that can disappear. And I'll add in this camera. There. Okay. Stick that over here. Now, Droid Cam is kind of awkward unless I buy the actual app, which I am going to have to do, I think. It will only give me a square shape, so it's going to look a little odd, but at least you can see what I'm doing. Right, and I'll just get rid of that frame there. Okay. Right, I'm not my, it's not my favourite thing, but what you asking me, Stephen? I got the Dunner as well. Do you mean the Dunner B1? Is that what you mean? If that's what you're asking me, Dunner didn't send me the B1. I asked them to send me a B1, and they said they hadn't got any left, and so I borrowed one from a mate that's not mine. I can buy it off him if I want, but after they told me that they didn't have any left, they sent one to Doug. So I presume I'm just not a big enough channel, which is fair enough, I guess. Yeah, the B1. Yes. Okay. I also have this pedal from Donna, the Octave pedal, which is really, really clever. I'm going to be doing a demo on that soon. And I, of course, have the Starry Pad, which I was talking about earlier, which I will also be mentioning a little bit later on in this stream, because I'm going to be comparing it to the Synido TempoPad, which I now don't have an overhead view of, but I have it here. So we'll have to find a way to get that in shot somehow. How am I going to do that? I'll come to that in a bit. Right, so new section. Right, so the new section is going to be here after this arpeggio bit here. Right, so right there, we need something new. And I think I'm going to start with Blipbox. My idea is, as that chord hits there, as we climb up to that chord there, then maybe just let that chord hang for a bar or two, maybe have some kind of an effect there, and then maybe drop in with some new chords, a key change or something slightly challenging sounding, something a little bit odd. And I was thinking I'd start with percussion. So we're going to have a look at Blipbox. So the first thing I'll do here, I'm going to Blipbox and open it up like this so that we can check out Blipbox. Right, now let me just go over to this view over here. Alright, let me tell you a little bit about Blipbox before we go any further. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to go into massive depth because all the other iOS YouTubers have got this app. They've all been talking about it. They're all doing videos and streams on it. So I'm just going to kind of give you my overview of it, and then I'm going to make some music with it. So I made a few notes about things that I want to remember to tell you about. Right, so whoops, accidentally twatted a key there. Alright, so in Blipbox, what we've basically got, if I press this button down here, you'll see that I've got 16 pads. And what I probably should have done actually is gone to my mixer and just brought the volume of it down a little. Don't want to blow your eardrums out. Some of the sounds in here are pretty loud. Here we go. All right, so we've got 16 pads. Now, in the AUV version of this, they're a little bit crushed down, or we can flip over to like a key mode. In the AUV3 version, because it's a little bit crushed down, some of the parameters in the app aren't adjustable, like balance and noise here. So you just flip it over to here so you can get to them. Right, so Blip box is a dual oscillator drum synth. We've got, I just use my TempoPad here so I can use my mouse with my other hand. There we go. Alright, so oscillator 1 is going to go from sine to square wave. And oscillator 2, sine to saw. We've got a pitch control for each of these controls, and we've got a mixer here which, if I just take it over to this side, you've just got the first oscillator. There's your pitch control. Okay, now just bring that one down, and we'll bring the mixer over to the middle, where in the middle you've just got oscillator number 2. Now you can, oh, and if I come over to the right hand side here, we get the ring modulation, which I shall demo shortly. Let's do this. So you can get these pitches down to really, really low tones for your kick type sounds, and you can balance between the two oscillators here. Right, now this control will adjust how much the first oscillator will modulate the second oscillator, and this one will adjust how much the second oscillator modulates the first one. So let's just have a little play around with that so I can show you. We'll get the mixer between the two things. Okay, now I just noticed something. I'm pressing the first pad on my TempoPad here, but the second note is playing. Let me just go over to this view here. You'll see what I mean. Right, so as I play, can we get this in shot here? If I go to, let's see which camera I can get this in shot of. That's going to be a bit too far away. What about this one? Okay, right, so in my side cam, you'll see as I press this one, or this one, right? That one ought to be playing the first instrument. So let's just see if we can adjust that. I think there is a parameter here where I can, in the settings, right, root note, let's move that up by 1 and see. Yeah, that's better. Matter shot. There we go. Okay. Right. So, back to this view. And I'm just going to get rid of that. Okay, so let's, there we go. Now then. Right, then you've got a modulation type for static or dynamic. And then we've got envelopes for both of the oscillators. You really can make some very, very fascinating, interesting, crazy sounds with this drum synth, which is exactly what I need for the next section of my track. See what I mean there? The difference between the static and dynamic. Right, and then the tight control will change the shape of those envelopes. Right, I could just pissy pants around with this all day. That's awesome. But I'm not going to. You'll probably be glad to hear that. Okay, and here's our noise control. Now I think the noise is, yeah, I think it's controlled by oscillator 2's envelope. Yeah, I am correct. Now, a really nice thing about this for me is that you can get two very, very different sounds blended together. You know, if you've got like a high pitch on one of the oscillators and a lower pitch on one, and then you can blend between those two sounds. Very, very nice. Okay, then we've got this distortion effect up here, which I absolutely love this. You can use this to get those very kind of like retro game effects sounds. Like that. Alright, then the filter is really awesome. There's your master gain. And then down here we can affect shape. I don't know if you can see that clearly enough on the screen. I think you can. These are labeled clearly underneath, so you can see what you can modulate here. Envelope shape 1, envelope 1 to pitch 1, and then envelope 2 to shape 2, and envelope 2 to pitch 2. And then we've got envelope 1 to cut off, and mix to cut off. Alright, so we can get some pretty awesome sounds going on. Now, there are some presets built in. There's not like tons of presets. I'll just show you. But there's enough to get you going. And there's some fantastic sounds already programmed in. Now, I could piss pants around with this all day and I could make my own sounds. But actually, there's a lot of sounds already in this that I really like. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to approach using that. If I go to... I think it was... In fact, actually, I should just have a quick play through some presets for you. So, analog. Just going to take the volume down a little bit more in the mixer. I'm concerned about being too loud in your ears. Okay. Right then, so piss panted around with analog, so I'm going to come out and go back in. So it just resets everything. Now, let's just have a little pissy pants around here, see if I can get this TempoPad in shot now. I think I can just unplug this keyboard for the moment and just set it down here. Okay, and then if I can, oh, this could all go pear-shaped. Let's just see, can I get this to come around here? Right, and then if I adjust this camera, don't know why I didn't think of that a little bit earlier, but there we are. Okay, so it's not the best shot, it's not the shot I was really hoping for you for this, but at least we've got a shot. Right. Okay. You can see, of course, that on TempoPad, when I hit the pads, they light up, which is nice. It has another mode. Just put this a little up to the camera. Right. So here I have a mode button, and if I press this, then what I get is I get an octave worth of notes. These are kind of you know you're in this mode because the keys are lit up, and when you press them, they change colour. What you've got is an octave worth of notes. So, up your octave, there's the top note of your octave, then you've got a blank that does nothing, and then here you've got two notes. You've got two pads that change the octave that you're playing on. So, we don't need this for the drum synth, but when I use the when I move over onto Phase Monkey, I'll be able to show you that these will change the octave that we're playing on. Just come out of that mode back into this mode. We've also got this pad bank button, which will move us through 3 different banks. So you see it's red at the moment. Red is like standard. It's what, if you plug your drum pad into, you know, a drum machine that's got 16 pads, you probably want it on red. But like when I use this with my computer, when I'm using Groove Agent, there's a lot more than 16 sounds. There's like bank after bank after bank of sounds for each kit. So I can just toggle this up the next 16 sounds, and again. So that's a pretty cool button. Let's go back to here. Right, I'm going to press this button here so I can see the 16 pads. And I want to show you something really cool. Let's go through a few more sounds. Right. Now this bank here, this effects bank, has some sounds in it that I think I might very well be able to use for this piece of music. That one there might be perfect for this break. I like that. What I was talking about earlier with the TempoPad is, you know, like when you use the pad like this with the software that comes with it on your desktop, and you can assign all the controls to do whatever you want. Works a little bit different on iOS. Now it's fine if you're in AUM or if you're in Cubasis, you can just assign things as you wish. But in Logic we can't really do a lot of that right now, so I'm not going to try and demonstrate that. I'll come to that when I do my full proper demo of this But wouldn't it be nice, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you could just like do a MIDI learn and use control buttons like this to operate the transport in Logic Pro? So you can see it's got play, stop, fast forward and rewind, record, and loop. It would be really. Oh, and we've got this note repeat as well, which if I press that, then hold down a key, right, and then we've got a tap tempo button as well, so we can change the speed of that. That's not something I would really use. I'm not going to be doing any, live finger drumming with it. And speaking of finger drumming, it's kind of pads wise. I mean, I'm not a finger drummer, but the finger drummers tend to really like the Akai pads, and I can see why. I've got a couple of Akai controllers, and the pads are sort of harder and there's more sensitivity to them. Now these are slightly more sensitive, slightly more touch sensitive for getting varying degrees of hit than the one I've just lost. Here we are. Then on the Starry pad, these are a little bit a bit more squishy, a bit softer, and they're a bit more difficult to get sensitivity out of. And they are smaller, which I think for finger drumming is something that I'm totally not an expert on. Probably makes it a little bit more awkward to use it in that capacity. However, I really like this one because of the size of the buttons, because it's a very small unit. It's even smaller than this TempoPad. Very robustly built, but I think that the TempoPad is slightly better built actually. It feels very robust, and the bottom of it has this sort of rubbery plastic. So when you've got it on your desktop, it really doesn't slide about. It's really fixed in place. On the back of it, can I do this? On the back of it, all right, so you can see there's my USB-C to USB-A cable that I've got this plugged into my bank with in my my powered USB hub. That's the word I was looking for. Now, there's something kind of missing from the other demos I've seen of this and the instruction manual as well. So what it tells you is, if you're going to use this pad with iOS, you will need a cable to connect it to your iPad, and then you'll need another cable. There's another USB-C slot purely for power. So you can plug it into your mains. You use one of those little white Apple mains adapter things, plug it into that, and that will power it, because you don't want to be trying to power it with your iPad. But if you use a power bank, right, if you use a USB hub, like most iOS musicians that use controllers do, you don't need to do that. You can just plug that into your hub and everything will work just as we're used to with other controllers. What else does it have on the back? Oh yeah, it's got a power button, and it's got one of those mini jack sized MIDI outs, which, what have I done with the cable? Right, there's tiny little they come with the iRig Duo actually. Can I just get one here? Yes, I can. Alright, you get one of these. So, if you wanted to operate a synth or a drum machine or whatever with it, with, your old school MIDI cable. Can I get this in this shot here? Right. Little DIDI connector to your MIDI connector type thing. Must remember to plug that back in later. Okay. Now, what I want to do is use this effect. That one. I'm going to use that one. But the thing is there's various sounds on various pads through the presets in Blipbox that I want to use. But I need them, I need them all in one bank, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can how you can achieve that. So I'm going to press up. Was it that bank there? Nope. It was that bank there. So what I do is I press and hold on here and I just lift settings. And that will copy that sound so that when I go over to, let's go here. Right, so now I've gone to the initialize preset and they all just, why am I not using this? Right? Right, so basically an empty bank ready for programming. So I'm going to put that up here. Press and hold and drop. And now, yeah. Cool. Right, so let's just go find a few more sounds. I don't need tons of sounds. I just need sort of a few inspiring sounds. I think this one. No, not that one. That one. That gives me an idea. All right, so that one. And we'll lift settings. And you know what I did? I made a mistake, didn't I? Let's just copy that onto there. Right, so I forgot to save. Idiot. Stupid hippie. Right, so where was that effect? There. Let's do that. Okay. Go to initialize. Put that there where I wanted it. Drop. Then we shall save. And we'll call it Jamie's effects. Right. Okay. So. And of course I've lost the other one as well, haven't I? Right. So what was that? What bank was that in? Was it in? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I like that one. We want that one. Right, lift. Go to, do I have to go in here? Right. Yeah, Jamie's effects. Drop. And save. Do I have to type it in every time? Okay. So now I should have. Okay. Right, let's get a couple more. That one I wanted. Okay. I'm thinking that one. And I think that kick. I'm just going to check through the other kicks though. Right, lift settings. Drop that one there. Save that. I wish I called it something shorter now. I didn't realise you had to type it in every time. Being honest about this app, I absolutely love it. I love the sounds and I love the way that you control the sounds. If I had to find a criticism, because YouTubers have to find a criticism, right? I think maybe the menu could be a little bit more, just a little bit more. It could be a bit more. I can't think of the word I want. Right, now let's find a kick. I'm going to need some kind of kick. So if I do this, if I go there, maybe because the other effects are all a little bit dramatic, maybe a simpler kick. The sounds in this bank are really fun. I think I'm going to go with that one. Live settings and go to James Effects and put that down here, I think. Okay, and let's save it. Okay. Right, now let's scoot over to here and drop some of those sounds in. So what have I got on this bank? Right. I think that one first. Right, so let's go with play this. Oh, I've got note repeats on here. Let's just switch that off. Okay. Now, for me, having a pad like this, I find really useful, because although I'm not a finger drummer and I don't actually tend to like try and put grooves down in tracks by sort of playing them in, not very much really. What I find it really useful for is just when I'm trying to come up with a drum part more than anything, and I'm sort of hitting things and just trying to find the right fill or little pattern or something. That's the point where I find it most useful. Right, so if I just play from here, I think maybe these two sounds combined actually. Yeah, okay, let's try that. So, in fact, I am going to try and play that in. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and play it in like a proper musician. and I have made an error. There. See, it always helps if you press record. That's my top tip for the day. Right now, we'll just go in here and let's just edit this. Pop that across there. And right, they were never going to be in time, were they? Not with my pad tapping skills, not a chance. Right, okay, so now we have this. And then there, let's have a kick come in, right? And I'm thinking, let's bring the tempo down. Let's bring the tempo down right there. And this is why I'm using Logic Pro for iPad. If it wasn't for this, I probably would stick with Cubasis. Lots of great things about both, but I know Cubasis inside out. You know, I just do things much quicker in it, but I just can't cope with not having a tempo track anymore. Right, so let's put snap to bar on. There we are. Hey, Pete Johns is here. See, I said we might have a little guest in the chat, didn't I? We've got a chat bomb from Mr. Pete Johns, the wonderful, inspiring, talented, annoyingly witty Mr. Pete Johns. Thanks for joining us, dude. Rock on September, folks. That reminds me, whenever you are posting anything about stuff that you're doing for your Songtember projects, please do remember to use the hashtag Songtember. I've noticed more and more it's actually becoming a thing. Use it and it just helps to find Songtember content. It's true, Joe. Yes, every DAW does have their own unique features that others don't have. But, you know, I can't help feeling like I want those features from that DAW and I want those features from that DAW and I want to bolt them together. I want to make my ideal DAW. You know, it just feels to me like Logic Pro for iPad gave us lots of things that we'd been craving for in Cubasis 3. But then it doesn't do some things as well and it doesn't have them and I just find that frustrating, I do. It's probably extremely entitled of me. Remember to talk to the camera, not to the chat that you're reading down there. What I should probably do, you know, is I should probably get some device up there, right next to my main camera, so that when I do that thing and I'm talking to the chat, I'm actually looking almost towards the camera. Might be a good idea. So Pete, how is your Songtember track doing? I really enjoyed your streams. The one that you were doing when you were presenting a few different ideas and just sort of pissy-panting around with a few possible projects to start, I listened to whilst I was driving a gig. Your stream was 2 hours and it took me 2 hours to get to my gig, so it was just the perfect length. So I couldn't watch it, but I was listening to it all the way there. And I haven't caught up with you since then, so I was wondering, which one did you choose? Did you choose the first one, which I thought the bass line that you had was just an absolute banger, like an instant funky pop punk hit, I think. But the other one, the one that sounded pearl jammy, was just mighty. That guitar part was, I would probably have gone with that one just because it felt like there was a song already there. Right. Back to this. Let's go with throwing a. Oh yeah, I was going to do the. You've distracted me, Pete. I want the tempo to come down there. So that tempo, if I go to this button here, so I can draw in a noggin there, and then while these effects occupy these two bars, we'll drag that tempo down. Not massively, not like at the beginning of the song. We'll experiment with it and see what sounds good. Right, so then I grab this point in between the two tempo points, and I can alter the curve that it slows down, maybe something like that. I don't think we're really going to hear that. Right, that effect ends before the next bar. They could do it being a little bit longer. Maybe I can adjust that sound in Blip box and make it last a little bit longer. But also when it's got a bit of a reverb tail on it, that'll help. I'll come to that later when we've got the next part in and see how it's working. Right, so I'm going to extend this out here. No, I'm not. I'm going to try and play this in so that you can laugh at me. I'm going to need a metronome, and I'm only putting a kick in. How difficult can that be? I'm thinking something like that. Something like that. Let's see. That's so pathetically out of time, it's ridiculous. Right. Let's just join these. I can't seem to do that with the mouse. I'll just stick my finger on it. Right, and then we will join. Then we'll come in here. Let's go and edit that. Let's have a look at that MIDI. Snap to bar. Let's put that to 8th notes. Right. It's not as terribly out of time as I thought it were going to be, actually. Go me. Right, okay. Let's select all that then. And we'll just go and quantize that. So I want to quantize it to 8th notes. And let's just listen to that back. All right, I think I can lose the metronome now. I'm quite liking that. So what I'll do is, actually, I joined these very prematurely, didn't I? We're going to use one of the features that's not my favourite thing about Logic Pro. I'm going to chop this MIDI out. I'm going to split it. I don't like having to drag the scissors down every time. It feels like an unnecessary extra step. And then I'm going to copy this across, do that. Wait a minute, what's going on there? Okay. Did I? Oh yeah, I need to go back to there. I was still on the trim. Okay. Now we'll join it up. I do find myself doing that rather a lot with Logic Pro for iPad. When I've used the trim tool, I'll leave it on trim and then I can't work out why I can't do what I want to do. Right, so let's now make a loop here and see if I can get some of those, work in some of those other sounds. had this idea of this sound. Lever bar doesn't fit with that kick I've done. What if I do it from the beginning? What if I do it from... No. Try a different sound. I'm getting annoyed with myself. Ooh, that's great. It don't want to be every time. I'm going to throw that one on. Right, okay. I think that was okay. I quite like that. So, where should those notes come in? So they should go there. Yeah, that one's a bit prem. It's a bit prem. They're all a bit prem. Right, have I done that right? Let's have a check. Alright, I'm liking that. Where do the other sounds fit in? Press the wrong button. Hey Jade! Jade, I'm just trying to make like a really cool middle bit with silly sounds from Blipbox. And I had a great idea and it don't work. You know when you have those fantastic ideas in your head and then you try and play it in and it no. It's a no. So I'm just trying to come up with something else. Well, I really thought that this sound was going to fit in there. But it really doesn't. Maybe... See, I've already used that sound, haven't I? Maybe, I mean, it could come back in, but this section could just start with the kick. Excuse me, sorry, well, I have a little cough. Right, so that sound doesn't work. I think I'm just going to abandon that sound. This sound we have already used, but I like it a lot, and I think if I just put it in a couple of times, I think that's gonna be cool. So let's just put that. I can't remember where. I think it was there. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. There, that one. I just keep pressing things, yeah, till something happens. There. Okay. Right. Let's have a listen from the beginning of this new bit. Tempo drops down. Right, and there, I'm thinking that's. I might change my mind when I start adding guitars. You know, I might have like a fabulous idea that I want to run for longer, but I'm thinking right now that all I need is just like 8 bars. Plus, there's a little gap, so there's 10 bars where it's like this new section. I think we're even going to go to a different key. I think that's what we're going to do. Make it really kind of challenging and moody and miserable sounding, and then kick it right back in just here. And now I'm not going to try and build like a fill with these sounds to take us back into the main track, because I think that probably will work better if I use the toms, the snare, or both from drum 80, like the rest of the track. I feel like I need a couple more sounds maybe in this percussion bit here, but I'm not feeling what exactly. So I'm going to move on. I can always drop back in and add a couple more bits in later on. By the way, Jade, I keep losing the camera, which is why you can see the odd square-shaped camera up here. That doesn't have a frame, because I had to take my overhead view down and use that camera for over here. It was a more important view. Although today actually the overhead view would have been really, really helpful. But I'm using, what webcam is it? I'm using Elgato to use my my iPhone 14 as a webcam for this side view, and it's a really, really good picture, but it just keeps crapping out on me. And then when I reboot it, I can't add it back into the stream. It won't have it. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find a different webcam app for it, because all the others work with whatever, or maybe swap a couple of old iPhones around and use different webcams for. I don't know. Something for me to have a pissy pants around with, when I've got some time, when I've got nothing to do, All right, so we've got this section with the breakdown. We've got something going on there. Now I'm going to get to Phase Monkey now. Now, Phase Monkey, I love synths, but I'm not a synth expert. So I'm just going to kind of have a bit of a pissy pants around, show you a few of the presets, and just give you an overview of how it works. I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on this kind of thing. So I need that keyboard back, don't I? And I've put this in my way now. Can I fit this on here? Hang on. Have a little jiggle. Try and get everything on the desk. I think I just about managed that, actually. Okay, I need to plug this back in. Which won't be a problem if I can find the end of the cable. I mean, why would that even vanish? There's a massive spider up there. I don't like spiders. If you hear me suddenly shrieking, then then it's coming for me. When I say massive, it's about this big. Better have multiple scenes with one cam and an iPad on each scene. 3 cameras on the scene at one scene. OBS. It is a big Is it really? Oh, I didn't realise that. Okay, well maybe I'll have a little jiggle around with the scenes then. Yeah, thanks for that, Jade. Thank you. So So it's not like the amount of cameras you've got going, but the amount that you've got on the screen at one time. Okay. Now, where the bloody hell is this cable? Honestly, right, you saw me unplug that keyboard. How have I lost the end of the cable? Aha. Here we are. Simple Man Pete says, only have one angle. I'm going to resist making a rude joke about that. Yeah. Yeah. I have to say that when I used to stream, when I first started streaming, and I was just using my iPhone, which would be my iPhone 8 Plus at the time, which is now that camera up there. The one, yeah, that one. What I'm pointing at. It was really easy. It was just, one view, try and come up with kind of clever ways to get everything in shot and a reflection of me, although I always looked left-handed, but, kind of worked. Right. All right, so here's Phase Monkey, and it's a synth. And I'm just going to go to this screen so you can see it a little bit more up close and personal. Right, now, I forgot to do a thing. I forgot to do two things. I'm going to go to my mixer and pull down the volume so I don't blow your eardrums out. And I'm also going to go and arm the track so that you can hear what I'm doing. Okay, maybe it should be a little bit louder than that. Okay. Right, Phase Monkey. First thing I'm going to do with Phase Monkey is I'm just going to play a few presets. Let's just, because that'll give me a chance to have a noodle around with a few chords. I might have a, you never know, I might hit upon an idea for my new bit. Right, so here's my startup sound. Alright, we'll just toggle through a few. Let's go down a couple of octaves there. Basic bass, a bell pad. Go back up an octave. Brass section. That's a really nice sound. Broken spring. Calm delay. This is quite nice. I'm going up an octave again. Right, so you can hear it's a very, very capable synth. Let's just have a pacey pants around here. So we can choose a waveform for our main oscillator here. If I pull up this mix control, now all you're hearing is the main oscillator. When I pull this down, we're mixing in the modulation oscillator. I'm having real problems saying oscillator today. Right, now let's just have a bob through we'll have a bit of that blended in. I'll show you a couple more waveforms. Right, now we've got the little detune control here, which we can detune fine amounts, or we can move it coarsely in semitones. Right, let's bring in some more of that modulation oscillator. Oh, I said it okay. Right. Right, and then modulation frequency. So you can hear it can do crazy sounds, it can do mad stuff, challenging stuff. And we can go between noise and ring modulation. The higher I bring up this shape, the brighter the sound. Okay, now your envelopes. This is quite sophisticated. I'm not gonna pretend that I understand this brilliantly. I think I would if I just dedicated a little bit more time to having a pissy pants around with it. But basically, your envelopes, you've got amp, mod, and extra, and you can set the amount versus the length of time it takes to arrive with this XY pad. And there are 8 steps to it. So for, here we go, look. Using these controls I can stoggle dear, through the 8 steps. And using the buttons down at the bottom, I can select the step that it will sustain on. And this one is for modulation oscillator. Right, and then we've got pitch and shape. Double click to recenter it. Right, now we've got an LFO. Let me just go into a different sound. We've got an LFO, which again we can choose a waveform for, and we can send it to pitch, shape, or level. There's your rate control, depth, and delay. I really like the delay because you can just play a note and then that, and then it kicks in later. Dig that. Madness. You see, I made a really cool synth sound and I don't even know what I'm doing. So it must be a great app. Alright, we've got a brightness control for the whole thing. We've got portamento. Now the spread control, this is really useful because I'm just going to change my sound because I've really made an arse of that one. Alright, now I think this might be a really good one to show you what I was... Yes, now the spread control, this gives you kind of like a random panning thing. If you're listening in headphones or good speakers, you'll hear that moving side to side. But as you'll know from my streams before, I don't really use panning an awful lot. So I would just get rid of that. Oh, Welton Kinder's here. Dude, thanks for joining us, man. Right now, the chorus sound is gorgeous. I'll switch it off so that you can hear how gorgeous it is as I switch it back on. That's the wrong knob. There. Alright, and again, control, and I think that pretty much covers most of the things in not very great depth or sophisticated detail whatsoever. Right, oh no, we've lost another camera now. Do you know? So DJ Cthulhu says, top tip for cameras, get yourself some Kit Vision Escape action cameras. They're dirt cheap and would probably work better than your old phones. I'm sure they would. I think that a really good step forward for me streaming would be to have some like actual webcams rather than old phones. The problem is I have no money. But when I get some, when I find some, I that is the next substantial thing I'm going to invest in. Dude. All right. So having lost that camera, I wonder actually that camera might actually just reboot if I just unplug it and plug it back in again. Or, you know, it might just not. I think that's the software there. Yes. iPhone. Yes. There we are. And it's back. All right. Okay. You're curious about my song, Timber Song. Well, it's not going to be a song. It's going to be a cyber metal instrumental. So cyber metal is cyberpunk with metal guitars, and that's it. That's what it is, right? That's what we're going for. And so far, I've got just synths and drum noises and stuff. I want to build the whole structure, and then I'll put the guitars on. Right. So, I did have an idea. For a part. I played something and it gave me an idea, but I need a different sound. See, if I was good at this, I'd have made a sound, right, while I was demonstrating, and then I would put the next part down with it. Right, so the track is basically in C. At this point, I'm gonna go to C minor and see what happens. And then we'll have a sharp 5. And then an F minor. That works. Right, I'm not sure about that sound. Something that's too nice. Don't like that. DX7 is lovely, but it's not what I want. That's lovely. Too nice. That could work. The only problem with the way I've repositioned things on my desk now is that you can't actually see my hands as I'm doing this awesome keyboard playing that, you know, will just be utterly staggering to all of you. I thought I'd have more problem thinking of a part actually than finding a sound. There's a lot of good sounds. It's just what do I want? Oh, no, I don't want that. That might be. Okay. A churchy type sound, because I was talking yesterday about having some choir sounds. That could be a thing. Try not to twat the camera, you stupid hippie. It's a little bit heavy on the detuning. Switch it from coarse to fine, knock it a little out of tune. Sounds a little drunk. I need another chord there. Let's just unplug this TempoPad for the moment so I can just have a little bit more room on my desk. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. And I keep twatting that camera. Other than that, it's all going quite swimmingly. I could adjust that actually, couldn't I? Yeah. There. Okay, right, cool. Yes, yes, Gerald. Kind of think that might work. I might need to adjust this sound a little, but I could use it for now just to put this part down. So I've got my C minor shifting to a sharp 5, G minor, no, F minor. Let's see if we can get a G minor in there. What? So that would be this. No, that's not a G minor. There, okay. Alright, maybe the first one could hang like a... Let's do this over the drums. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to need a loop. Oh, I've got a loop, I just need to switch it on. Right, okay. Try that again. No, I don't need to do it. The first one I wanted to hang, didn't I? This time to the G minor. And you see, now I'm thinking that could go twice through. Maybe this should be 16 bars. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me in the chat, what do you think? Should this be 8 bars? Should it be 16 bars? And should it maybe drag down to slightly slower? I'm feeling that. I'm just feeling like it could go that tiniest bit slower. Just here. Right, drag that down a little bit more, around about 80 BPM, something like that. And I kind of like the way that it slows down. And I'm going to try and record that in. I might need a metronome because I'm hopeless. Oops. Right. I am going to put a bit of reverb on the organ, Gerald. I am. Okay. So I'm going to press record and see if I can't make a less than terrible job of playing this in. And then tell me, what do you think? 8 bars, 16 bars? Maybe I'll just copy it across and see what you think. Okay, it could have been more terrible. Right, Phase Monkey. Let's have a look at you. Showing editor. Right, okay. The timing's not that terrible at all. I give myself a pat on the head, except I'm wearing these stupid massive headphones that are far too big for my head. Okay, what about then if I double this up? Actually, it might help with that if I quantize it first. So I'm just going to do that. Sorry about that. Well, yeah. Then I should be able to just drag this over here. I didn't do what I wanted. I'm not entirely sure what it did do. Right, grab that. Yeah, that's it. Right, then we copy across. And I'll copy this as well. Switch copy off. Lose the beginning of that. Drag it over there. And then, let's see. Alright, so votes in the chat then. What do you think? Is that section too long at 16 bars? Is that... Now, forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, but welcome to the chat. Sassage, is that right? Is that the right way to say it? Forgive me if not. Joe says, what's better, Logic for iPad or Cakewalk? If you've tried Cakewalk on Windows, I haven't tried none of them, but interested in Cakewalk while it's still free. Well, you know, Cakewalk is pretty cool. You know, I haven't used it in a little while actually, but I think if you're a Cubase user, Cakewalk is it makes a lot of sense. I find like the way, I don't think workflow is really the right word, but it's the word everybody uses. I think the workflow in Logic Pro for iPad or even, you know, for Mac, like GarageBand, to me, it always feels a little bit alien. But now that I'm really into Logic Pro, I am getting used to it. I think, you know, I think for me, Logic Pro for iPad is it's capable of doing everything that I want to be able to do, except for I can't export mono audio. I just cannot find a way to do that, and I need to be able to do that. Other than that one thing, which I can get around by using other apps, although I'd rather not have to do that. Stop twatting the camera, stupid hippie. Yeah, you know, Cakewalk is a good desktop option. Yeah, sure. Jamie, I went through some recent project and my drums were colour blue, not red. Was it okay that I deleted all the tracks? Was it okay that you deleted all the tracks? Kenora says, I used Cakewalk for about 6 months, then changed to Cubase about 9 months ago. PC girl. Imagine Cakewalk for iPad, that'd be crazy. Yeah, it would. I mean, it all depends sort of, you know, the thing about this for me is when people were talking, because people were talking about Logic coming to iPad for years, and the dream was, you know, like, oh, we'll be okay. Everybody used to say, oh, we'll be okay, you know, when we get Logic on iPad, because it's coming, you know, it's bound to. Everything will be great, it'll fix all our problems. And what people were imagining was like as if Logic was going to be moved over to iPad in its current form, which of course it wasn't going to be, was it? You know, it depends how it's implemented. But a good implementation of Cakewalk on iPad, I would like to see that. Definitely, I would really like to see that. It's all about adapting it for iPad and making the best use of the touch surface thing, which I think they've done a pretty good job of that with Logic. There's more work to be done, but I think they've done. I mean, for a first release, yeah, it's pretty damn good. It would be nice, I think, to have floating windows. I think that would be a next major improvement that could be made. Like you have in AUM or like you have on desktop. So Kinera thinks double the length. Gerald says keep it at 16 bars. You can always chop bits off if it's a bit repetitive. Yeah, I think what's going to happen here is I'm kind of feeling that in this bit I'm going to want to play some moody guitar, maybe get something really eerie going, and miserable, and so if it basically, it's going to depend on the ideas, and it's going to be, can I make it stretch to 16 bars, or am I going to run out of ideas? And if I do, I'll chop it back down. I think that's the way to go. I think that's sensible advice. So now what we need here is I'm running out of time. I want to complete the structure, the basic structure of the whole thing, so that my next stream I can get stuck into adding some guitars. And so what we need is these sections back here coming in at the end of the new section. Now, of course, when I say I want to finish my structure, that doesn't mean I won't change it later, but I need something to work with. So I think if we, at this point in time, select this, do the copy thing, and then drag all this over here. Now, it's going to want to speed back up. It's going to want to speed back up to 118 BPM. So what would it be like if this last part here sped up? Yeah, that sounds bad slow. Right, okay, let's get the tempo track. I'm rather than thinking about it, I'm just going to experiment with it and see what works. So, grab the mouse, go to right, and put a tempo dot in here, and then move it to 118, like the track was before, and maybe attempt starting a speed up from here, and just see what that's like. If I was to put a fill, like a long drum fill over this section, and that's gradually speeding up, taking you back into the new part, that might be very cool. Or it might suck. We need to try it. Okay, the ideas sound. I need to listen to that last chord again. A G minor going back into a C. Right, we definitely need to lose that last. We definitely need to lose that last drum sound off here. That doesn't sound good over that, spilling into that first C chord at all. In fact, that sounds utterly dreadful. Right, let's just do that again. Why have I still got the metronome on? What an idiot. G minor. hang on. Why did I ever think that would work anyway? G minor. Going into a C. Actually, that could work. I'm really not sure that's going to work now. G minor. Oh, okay. Maybe we just need to add another chord in there. Maybe we could kind of go G minor to major into the C major. Right. Maybe that will work. I'm not entirely convinced, but let's just right. So there's my G minor. Drop that back, and then copy it there. Minor third to major third. Oh, I've got copy on. I bet. Right. Let's see. It sounds a little bit weird at the moment because one thing is the level of that new keyboard sound, which is it's a bit loud, but I need it loud while I'm just listening to what the chords are doing. Okay. I think the curve of the speed up would benefit from being a bit more gradual. Right, so that's going to need a solid drum 80 fill through there to make that work. Drum 80. Okay. Now then, I've unplugged my TempoPad and I could use it for this part. Just had a notification on my old iPad there that a new version of an app is available for testing and test flight, but I didn't have time to see which one it was. We need a metronome for this, aren't I? Right, okay, so put TempoPad back over here. Move this keyboard. I'm struggling to get it in the hole. It's better. It's not coming on for me now. I think I might have just caught the on button in the hub. There we are. I just accidentally caught the button on top of the hub with the back of the iPad. My hub has it's got a switch for each thing that's connected, which is alright, you know, but it's not a very good hub anyway. Right, so I want drum 80. So where am I? On my toms. Okay. Well, at least whatever I play next, it couldn't be any worse than that. Maybe something straight, like a straight. Am I recording that? Apparently I am. I didn't mean to. Okay. It quantizes as it speeds up. Actually, that was kind of cool. What would that be like over here? No, not there. Here. Nope. Picking random bits of the song. And I thought we were recording that, and apparently I wasn't. Now we've got a hanging note. Is it? It's not Phase Monkey. Oh, it's Towel. So no. Actually, yes. Well, normally if you play the note that's hanging, it stops doing it. So I'll just mute that for now. So that's annoying me, and I need to finish my stream in a moment. So, yes, I thought I was recording that, and I didn't record it, so I'm going to have to try and do that again. So if I start it from about there, I think. Adding an extra layer of drums to the second half of the middle bit, like slow toms to build it back, and then maybe make those a bit busier, or switch to a fast snare roll to bring it back into the last bit. It's an idea. It might be a shit one. We'll see. Would really help if I started in the right place, wouldn't it? There. I defy any any piece of software to quantize that god awful plane. Let's have a look. Let's have a look how terrible my playing is. Yeah, that's quite terrible. That really is absolutely all over the place. So much so, there's no way we can get this quantized well. But we'll just, we'll give Logic a chance. In the pocket drumming, in someone else's pocket, I think. Okay, so classic quantize 16th notes. Right, now let's have a listen and watch from here. Good so far. So close. Just that one that lagged there. I think it's that one. I think it's this chap here. Let's just see. I think that's the fella. Oh, is there one missing? There's one missing. That's what's... Yeah. That's what's okay. No, that's not what I meant to do, is it? Ah, yeah, because it's speeding up there. So would that mean that it wouldn't fit to the grid? Let me get my head around this. Right. Yeah, so those two. Oh, got copy on. Dickhead. I don't remember pressing that. Right, no, that's not going to be right, is it? I don't think that's going to be right. Let's try. I think actually, I just didn't do that. Right, I think if I bring all of these to the line, I think that makes them in time. I really need to stop doing that. Okay. Yeah, I need to switch the pencil off. Okay. Okay. Just drag that over. And then drag these over. And I'm dragging this over. And then we've got a note missing, which is there. Am I right? Hey! I'm so impressed with that. I'm going to listen to it again. Right, now what if we had a bit more drums going on in that last few bars there, so that when it picks up and speeds up, it does sound much busier. Yeah, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 bars there. So adding that middle tom. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that comes right after. I think that must be a 16th note. Where are we? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. And that's going to be there. Okay. Not that now, is it? Not that now, is it? There. Right, okay. I think we'll just do this for every tom hit in the last 2 bars and see what it sounds like. Alright, and then in the last bar, even more. You can never have too many, right? Never have too many drums. Or what about if there we lose those last 2 toms? Oh, I'm just randomly drawing drums. Try not to forget to switch pencil off, people. Now then, hang on. Yeah, we need to lose that one. I'll just go to... Finally. Okay. Random press. So then what we would do is we would lose the last 2 toms and just have like a fast snare fill. And the snare is there. Right, delete those. And then we'll go to snare. And we want the snare to be, yeah, they're going to be 16th notes, aren't they? That's going to be like that. Okay. Yes, but still, I want more toms. So I'm going to go and duplicate these 4 toms, dragging them over like that. And again. Never have too many toms. There we are. Right, okay. I like that. It's kind of a bit overly dramatic and bombastic, and that's what I like. Okay, so I think obviously it's not massively refined. It's not perfectly superb, but basically we have I just want to switch off the, yeah, there we are. So basically we have a structure in place for the whole thing. It's going to want a little bit of adjusting, I'm sure, as I go along, but I feel like now I've got something I can start adding the real audio instruments to, the guitar, bass, and who knows what else. And that's where it starts to get particularly inspiring for me. Now we do still have one problem, don't we, to cue before I go? Yes, we've still got Tal playing away to itself. Gerald mentioned that if I just press play, it might cue itself. Hasn't cued itself. Does Tal have a MIDI panic button? I don't remember. MIDI learn. Snare reminds you of EastEnders. I think there's a reason for that, Gerald. I don't know if it's... God, that's really getting on my tits. I don't actually know, right? But those toms and snare sound in the EastEnders soundtrack, in the theme music, I've always thought sounds like a Simmons kit, which is all Drum 80 is. It's just the classic Simmons module. You're right. Yes, I could just change the sound. The only thing is I think I've made an adjustment to this sound since, and I don't know if I've saved it, but actually that's not a problem. That was about there, I think. So save my preset. It's still doing it. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I am going to show presets. Put my preset back in. Come out. And go back in. Right? Because I just want to... play you out with the track, right? So I think I'm at a really good place with this track. I'm very, very happy with the progress I've made. I'm extremely happy with the stream health. It's said excellent all the way through. Everything seems to have gone quite swimmingly. I'm not massively happy with my camera issues, but I'll get stuck into that and see if I can fix that problem. Thank you very, very much for being here. Once again, thank you ever so much for all the people who stuck around yesterday when I was having problems starting the stream. I really, really appreciate that. And thank you very much for your support. If you wouldn't mind just making sure that you've given the stream a thumb up, that would be most agreeable to me. Don't forget that not only am I making this track for Songtember, but I am also more than happy to help anyone with any issues making their tracks for Songtember. Like if you're having some problem with the software, or if you get stuck with the track, want some advice, reach out. All the information about how to contact me is down below the video, and you really are sincerely very welcome to do so. Now, if you are on my Patreon account, if you would like me to play on something or get involved with helping, mixing, or more in-depth advice, then my patrons forget this. I'm always reminding them, but if you're on my Patreon account, if you are making a track and you think, well, it'd be great if Jamie just played a bit of bass or a bit of guitar or whatever on that, or made some fart noises or whatever, very welcome to reach out, and I will do so. Okay, right. I'm going to clear off. Thanks very much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Make lots of music. Good luck with all your Songtember projects, and I'll see you in the next stream, which might be tomorrow lunchtime. I need to check a few things before I schedule it, but I'll be spamming the entire internet as usual as soon as I schedule it. All right? Try not to piss pants about. See you later.